Here in the UK, we have something called the Classic Sports Car Club. Within that club, there's a series called the Future Classics Series, which focuses on sports cars, saloons, and GT cars from the 70s and 80s. This is going to mark the next phase of my Gran Turismo career mode. If you missed the first part, I'll leave a link in the description below, or you can click on the video on screen. I have 85,250 credits, which carried over from the Clio Cup Championship. So let's head over to the used car dealership where we can find ourselves a classic sports car. So this is what I found, a Mazda MX-5 Roadster for 26,500 credits, leaving me just 58,750. Looking through the Future Classics regulations, I've noticed that bodywork and aerodynamics must remain factory. Engine and transmission, this gets interesting. Internals are free, so there's room to play there. I'm seeing nothing in regard to suspension and brakes, so I think we can apply some serious upgrades to this MX-5 and get it to the front of the grid. So let me give you a quick rundown of what I've applied so far. I've got a lovely livery applied, and as per the regulations, the Sport Mediums treaded tyres, which leaves me 53,250 for tuning parts. So what I've added is the sports air filter, the sports brake pads, sports suspension, the sports brake kit, and semi-racing silencer, which leaves me 43,000 credits. As I mentioned earlier, the original engine and gearbox must be retained, but internals are free, which means as long as I don't change the displacement of the engine or the block itself, these two upgrades here are fully permitted. So I've gone for the engine balance tuning at 17,500, leaving me just 25,500 credits in the bank. So let's get into the CSCC Future Classics special event. We're at Autopolis shortcut course. Let's head into the race where you can tell you more about it. So let's just take a moment to appreciate some of these cars on the grid. This is the sport evolution of the BMW M3, which also features in this race. Homologated for DTM, it holsters a 2.5 litre naturally aspirated engine producing 234 brake horsepower. The Nissan 240ZG, one of the finest Japanese sports cars ever produced, 2.4 naturally aspirated straight six, lovingly referred to as the G-nose for its aerodynamic front end. The Mazda Unos Roadster NA, we know it as the MX-5, a fantastically fun lightweight car to drive with good power, and let's not forget rear wheel drive. And finally, the Ford Sierra RS 500, an absolute legend of Group A racing, 2 litre front mounted turbo engine created by Cosworth, rear wheel drive, an absolute machine. It's lights out for the Future Classics series. I'm starting in 14th position. I'm just going to take a few laps to get acquainted with the MX-5, see where we're at, see how the tyres feel, and just get up to speed with this car. Everyone bunching up. We've got some really dark clouds on the horizon. I've set this to custom weather, so I don't actually know if we're going to get any changeable conditions. What I can tell you is that in real life, this is a 40-minute timed session, hence the 40 minutes timer at the top there. There's also a mandatory pit stop to complete. I have set tyres to ×10 on the wear, so let's see how that plays out as the race develops. Getting stuck right into the mix here. We're surrounded by MX-5s, 240Zs, BMWs. This is a proper classic little club classic race, as I would sort of call it. Absolutely brilliant. This is great fun. We're all pretty evenly matched as we come flying down the start-finish straight to complete lap 1. We're being challenged alongside us by our fellow MX-5s. So I've made it past the MX-5s and the 240Zs. We're coming up to the back of the M3 pack now, and this will be a challenge. Oh, the M3 sliding out of control. We're going to take that inside line. The lap to the leader is coming down ever so slightly as I'm worming way through these corners. On the straights it's pretty stagnant, but the corners I can make up some serious time, as I expected with this sports suspension, sports brakes. The tyres are helping me. Not that I have an advantage there, we are all running on the sports medium tyre. The M3's making light work of the Cosworth there. We're also going to take that position away from him, or are we? Battling, we're going to ever so slightly nudge him a little bit wide. That's 4th place in this classic car race. I must say, this MX-5 is absolutely brilliant. Screaming all the way to 8,000 RPM. It's handling like an absolute dream. You can really just mash the throttle and know what to expect afterwards. It's beautiful. Another 2/10 has been taken out of the leader as we approach this back of the pack of this BMW M3 pack. Let's see what we can do against these guys. I can make up most of my time through the corners, as is pretty much expected with the AI on Gran Turismo 7. Their cornering speed for the AI is where they lose most of their time, unfortunately. But look at this. It's a little 3-way, 4-way battle with me included. I'm going to save it for the straight and just see what this MX-5 can do up against these M3s rather. Getting me MX-5s and M3s mixed up. Not a hint of lift-off oversteer there. I can feather the throttle through that fast left-hander as much as I want. The car just behaves. It really does. On the brakes, I can absolutely just dive down. The AI is going to give up there, really, let's be honest. Mash the throttle, like I said, out of the last corner. Down the straight, we're going to see how we compare for the first time to the M3. I would say it's very even. So what I'm thinking about doing as I approach P1, the tyres haven't quite worked out in order to do a mandatory pit stop as I thought they would. So what I'm going to attempt to do is take first position and try and complete a mandatory pit stop just on my own and see how I get on with that. So I'm going to get my head down, trying to gain as much time between first and second as I can. Mandatory pit stop, see how we get on. That's first place, boys and girls. I'm approaching the back of the pack, so rather than trying to worm my way and get through them all, I'm going to take my mandatory pit stop. Let's go. P4, that's still good enough. I think there's time to catch the leaders here. I'm not too worried. I think as long as I go hell for leather, they're in my... What's this Sierra doing? He's just fully stopped. He must be in talks with the leaders to try and hold me back here. Let's dispose of him a bit sharpish, eh? That's P3. I have absolutely struck gold here. The AI does not know what to do with lapped cars, and I've just taken the lead, just like that. Mandatory pit stop completed. We've got 13 minutes left in this race. I think it's in the bag. Hang on a minute, we've got Esteban Ocon trying to overtake the leader again here. He's going to send me into a spin like a certain Max Verstappen. One of the things I love about this car, just look how much you can rev this thing out. It's brilliant. So we're approaching the final stages of this race. This is going to be the last lap, and this MX-5 is just absolutely brilliant. We've got the sports pads and discs on here, along with the sports suspension, the semi-racing silencer, air filter, the engine balance tuning as well to follow, and just a combination of all that is absolutely brilliant to chuck round a track. I was considering selling all of these cars once I was done with them, but there is no chance now. This is an absolutely brilliant little series if you want to perhaps replicate it yourself. But there we go, that's the win. It was an easy win in the end, but I thoroughly enjoyed that. So let's see what prize winnings we've gained. 183,900 credits. 183,900. Put that together with our 25,500. That gives us 209,400 credits to use on our next car. I know some of you were keen on seeing the 12 hours of Bathurst, but I've decided to push it back for a few reasons. I underestimated how costly it's going to be, 450,000 per car, and when you consider you've got to put a whole grid together with liveries, it's actually very costly to be able to do that. Second reason being, I don't think in real life you would actually be ready for the 12 hours of Bathurst, considering the races we've been involved in so far. So I want to push back the 12 hours of Bathurst further down the career path. Next week we've got the Porsche Carrera Cup. I want to do a full championship, full grid of Porsche Carrera 992s, all liveried up. It's going to be beautiful. Have a good day everyone. May the force feedback be with you.